Welcome to Storytime with Taluli. Today we're going to be checking out r/malicious compliance. Our first story is titled Stupid Policies. So earlier last year, I have started working for a small transport/warehouse company here in the UK. As I had changed professions, I had to be trained from the ground up. But the MD's son hit off from the moment we met at the interview and was determined to get me on the team. I was given an afternoon shift, which meant I got to learn the trade both the proper way from the day shift and the backdoor kind of way from the night shift. Now, it is important to point out that it is both our company policy and a contract with our clients that if we were to require any third-party trailers for loading outside Haulier that is not part of the company, we had to contact them by email and await a reply. Night shift being night shift, you usually do not end up getting a reply until about 6 next morning when the day shift starts. This meant that if we wanted to load anything on third-party trailers, we had to find our own way. Now, my personal way of life was always to help everyone out, as when you need something from them, they usually are happy to provide. There was one third-party hauler which loaded with us quite often, and the night shift manager often used to ring us to find out if we loaded anything they was to pick up in the morning. We'll call them Fusion Transport. I ended up doing them quite a lot of favors over the months, whether it was loading stuff early or arranging for them to come at a specific time and get turned around within few minutes. The only problem is that they have multiple clients in our warehouse, let's call them A and B. I've met and almost always helped Fusion in regards to our client B, but they often did work for out client A as well. The only problem was that the two clients have been contacting two different depots of Fusion Transport, and I was not allowed to leverage my contact there if I needed something for client A. This is where the fun starts. Just a few days before Christmas last year, on a Sunday, our client A has informed us that they had just agreed a load going to one of their biggest customers. The load was supposed to be delivered at 3 Monday morning, and we had been informed at 22 on a Sunday evening. Mind you, on Sunday afternoons, all of the warehouse's crew finish at 1800 and don't get back until Monday at 6. So I was there alone, just manning the office. Conversation with something like this. Client A: so we've just heard you an order info for an agent load that's got to be delivered in 5 hours time. Me: well, I'm alone here at the moment, but if you are desperate for it, I can go out and assemble and load the trailer myself. I just need you to send a driver down with a trailer so that I can load it. Client A: well, that's the problem. It is being taken by Fusion Transport, and they only agreed to it if they can arrive at your place and pick up the trailer, otherwise they won't make it in time for delivery. Well, fair enough, but first of all, we have none of their trailers here, and even if we did, I can't move one onto a loading bay myself. Have you got one down at your place one of your drivers could bring so it is ready? Nope, we've got nothing. Yes, I know what you are going to say. Our planning department is a load of bollocks. About right. Is this desperate then? If we don't deliver in time, there will be quite a large fine. Leave it with me. At this point, I thought, screw it. If they're that desperate for it, I'm gonna venture slightly outside the policy and request help from my fellow down that Fusion. So I called him up and explained where I stand. He went silent for a few minutes and then told me. Fusion Transport fella: you know what, pal? You've done me quite a few favors recently, so it's about time I paid back. I'm gonna send one of my drivers with a trailer you need and a couple of fellas to give you a hand doing so. How does that sound? Me: you're having a laugh, aren't you? Fusion Transport fella: no, buddy, I'd say that puts us about equal. And he did exactly as he promised, and about half an hour later, I had a driver with a trailer and 3 other guys to help me load it. It was ready just in time for the other depot of Fusion Transport to collect it. I rang up out client A and told it the order had been loaded and was on its way to the customer. He praised me for working miracles, and we left it on that. Next day afternoon, I come into work only to be greeted by the general manager and managing director himself, both asking me how the crap did I pull it off, as they had spoken with our client A and they knew we had no trailers to load it on and they couldn't provide any either. I explained to them what had happened and how I got it done. What kinda took my by surprise was instead of at least a nod of approval, I had been bollocked for breaching company policy. Unhappy, I returned to my duties, but I kept it in the back of my mind for a future reference. Boy oh boy did I have a grin on my face when in early January I received a nearly identical phone call on a late Sunday night, but this time I was going to do it properly. I composed a quick email to confirm we had received an order and that we urgently required a Fusion transport trailer to load it on. I ensured to copy in as many people in management as possible, including both the general manager and managing director. About an hour after that, I get a call from my general manager asking me how I am doing with this order. I calmly proceeded to explain to him that due to well-foreseen circumstances, I was unable to load anything as I did not get a trailer for it. He was furious and he hung up on me. About 10 minutes later, he and managing director both walk into the office and proceed to question me on why the heck I cannot get one thing done. So I put on my special face reserved for moments like these and said, "Well, as I had it pointed out to me last time, I am to strictly follow company policy in situation like these. I have requested a trailer and am awaiting response from client A." General manager: "But you know they cannot provide you with one." Me: "Well, I'm informed of this fact, sir. However, our policy states we can only request trailers from them, unless, of course, this is when I put my hands together and started rotating my thumbs around each other like a hunter waiting on his trap to trigger." General manager was fuming at this point. Managing director just looked at him, then at me and went, "Can you get a trailer sorted through one of your contacts?" Me: "Possibly, but general manager won't be happy about me breaching the policy again." Managing director: "Screw him! You've got my permission. If he has anything against it, I'll take it on personally." So I proceeded and rang my contact. He was happy to provide me with trailer as he had a driver in my area who had just finished a job. I turned around and told them that we'll have the trailer on site shortly, but that due to the time wasted, I would not have time to load in time for collection. General manager just looked at me confused, but the managing director started to understand what I was hinting at. I wanted them to load the trailer with me. The best thing was that we use electric pallet riders, which you need to qualify to ride, even though they are a piece of cake to use. This meant that my so-called helpers had to use the old-fashioned pump trucks to move the pallets around, which is not fun when the pallet weighs just under a ton. I will never forget the struggle faces the pulled as they was pushing the pump truck around the warehouse, and I was just zipping around them on my electric pallet rider. To this day, I was never questioned in how I do my work and what back doors I use to get it done efficiently. Wow. What an interesting story. Isn't it fun working for people that have absolutely no clue about anything? They just feel like, well, this is the policy, this is how it needs to be done. But then when you actually try to figure out, an efficient way of getting things solved that doesn't actually harm anyone, but it goes against company policy, they ream you for it. And then, of course, they find out later that they're a bunch of idiots. I'm glad you're able to teach them a lesson, and hopefully they'll realize that if the job gets done, and it was done, professionally, then they shouldn't have an issue with it. Anyways, I'm glad that worked out for you, and that was actually a hilarious story. Anyways, that's it for today. Thank you all for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I know it's been some time since we had a story, but hopefully there'll be more coming daily again for those of you that enjoy this. I do appreciate the support. I hope you're staying safe out there. I hope these videos are something that you enjoy, and I'm glad to provide them for you as there seems to be a demand for them. Anyways, thank you all. I hope you're staying safe, and until next time, we'll see ya. Wait, hold on. With that being said, we'll see you next time.